January is the month where traders promise themselves this will finally be the year they become disciplined. More focus, more control, more effort. But for many, discipline already feels heavy, like something you are forcing instead of something that actually supports you. In this episode, we are talking about why discipline keeps failing so early in the year and why trying harder often makes things worse, not better. You are listening to the Confidence in Trading podcast. I am your host, Agnieszka Wood, a trading mindset coach and a seasoned day trader with over a decade of experience. If you are new to my show, don't forget to subscribe so you can come back for the next episode. In this podcast, we explore the fascinating world of psychology and the human element of trading. We take a deep dive into different perspectives to inspire you and help you navigate the emotional ups and downs of trading with self-compassion and confidence. Whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned pro, this podcast is your trusted companion providing support on your trading journey. Get ready to boost your confidence and unlock the secrets to mastering your mindset for success. Welcome to episode 72, Why Discipline Keeps Failing You and Why Trying Harder Makes It Worse. Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. I hope you had a great start to the year and you are all ready to step into your power and begin the new year on a good note. January is the month where everyone promises to finally become disciplined, especially in trading. And it is also the month where discipline fails the fastest. I know that many traders already feel behind. And this is also caused because, when you go on social media, you will see a lot of people posting how great results they had last year, and that might already create a pressure, but also because you might not even have the time to get your head around what will you be actually focusing on in a new year. You might feel that you are stepping into the new year already with this feeling of rush, feeling that you are already behind. And it is not because you haven't done the work, but because you are trying really hard to make it work. And that just simply feels heavy. And here is something no one talks about. Even though everyone has their New Year's resolutions, January is in fact not a natural time to start new things, to push, to expand, and to force things to change. So when you are starting your year feeling, okay, this year is going to be completely different, you are actually acting against nature. Because in nature, January and winter, for that matter, is a time of conservation, of slowing down, of stabilizing. But instead, traders demand discipline to override how they feel. And they wonder why resistance, hesitation, and even impulsive decisions show up. Now, if the discipline has been failing you already, if you had some resolution and you're noticing that you have that internal resistance to, I don't know, getting up early or maybe journal in the morning or maybe prepare for the next day, whatever it is, maybe go to the gym. This episode is not here to push you harder. It is here to give you permission to stop fighting yourself and finally understand why discipline keeps breaking down in the first place. If you started this year feeling like this is going to be my breakthrough year, I have been trading for so long and it hasn't been working, I am going to do things differently this year. I'm going to have new rules. I'm going to be much more disciplined. I'm going to have more control. You are making all these promises. This will be my disciplined year. And that gives a sense of energy, motivation, right? Because it makes you feel strong. It makes you feel like I'm starting on a good note. But in reality, this forceful approach a lot of times create resistance. It creates this emotional friction because you feel like you have to force it. That approach backfires and your discipline simply weakens. And then what do? You try to push yourself even more. And maybe even, beating yourself up for the fact that you haven't stuck to your resolution, that you haven't had enough motivation. But I can tell you this is not a motivation problem. It is really about misunderstanding what the discipline really is. Because if discipline was truly about trying harder, then January would be everyone's best month. So here's the truth that I want you to hear. It is not about how to be disciplined, but it is how to stop breaking your discipline. So, really taking things and looking at them the other way around. Because, in fact, when you are struggling with your discipline, you are fighting your biology, not a lack of willpower. And I mentioned that in nature, January is not a month of expansion. It's more the winter energy where you are stabilizing, when you are recovering, when you are grounding. And I'm not saying, take a winter sleep, but your nervous system and your biology follows natural rhythms as well. So when you're pushing growth during the stabilization phase, that naturally creates resistance. But many traders are pushing anyway. They are setting for themselves stricter rules. They are trying to tighten their discipline. I have worked with so many traders, and I can tell you that none of these is working. What it does is when you are being harder on yourself, it only creates this internal conflict because instead of being your own friend, you become your own enemy and you start punishing yourself. And the next thing you know is you are destroying completely the trust that you have with yourself because you keep breaking your word. So it is really not about, stopping because it's a winter. It's about how you show up. And I don't want you to lower your standards, but what I would like to invite you to do is to start doing things differently. And you have probably already noticed that when you are pushing yourself harder to achieve something you want, if you are pushing yourself harder to stick to your word and to stick to what other people do and tell you what you should do, that you are only feeling more resistance to it. There is more procrastination that's coming in the way, and you are pushing the things away from you. And then on the other hand, you are constantly saying to yourself, oh, I should have done this. I should have done this. I should be doing this. Yeah, I need to do this. And all those words are just creating more and more pressure. And this is what discipline then feels for you like pressure. And everything that feels like pressure creates stress, and you don't want it, right? When you are stressed, you cannot perform. Especially in trading, when you are stressed, your natural nervous system fight or flight response is activating, and then you are acting against your best interest. Basically, what happens is you are overloading your nervous system, and then you start making impulsive decisions, and then your discipline collapses. So while most people are associating discipline with something that is harsh and it's pushing yourself and forcing yourself to execute certain things, what I'm saying is step back, stop pushing yourself, because if you do that, it doesn't really make you do the things you need to do. It creates more stress and more resistance. So you are avoiding doing those things even more. So you are actually working against yourself. And then you end up in this inner conflict. And every time when you are in an inner conflict, like, okay, I know I should be doing this, but I want to do this, you're draining your energy. And when something inside drains your energy, You are just becoming more vulnerable to impulsive behavior, to being more emotional, to blow up in the least handy moments. So when you feel that you have that internal conflict, most likely you are pushing yourself too hard to do something. Let's say you have been procrastinating to prepare for your trading day. And now you know that if you don't do that and you step into your trading day without preparation, most likely this is not going to be a good day, right? Because you will start taking impulsive trades. You will probably jump into positions without a clear plan because you don't have a plan. So your day might not be exactly ending up with positive results. So if you have the resistance to prepare, instead of pushing yourself to prepare and saying to yourself, I need to do this, I have to do this, why am I not doing this? Other people are doing this, what's wrong with me? And all that, ask yourself, why is that so hard for me to do that? What is this resistance? What is it that you are feeling internally? What are the two parts of you that are conflicting? Take the moment to build that awareness of what is actually happening inside of you. Because discipline is not meant to push you to do things that are against you and against your will. Discipline is there to support you so that the things you want and feels aligned with you, that you can maintain them throughout a certain period of time, that you can build consistency. So discipline is a system that is supporting your goals and not something that you are using to force yourself to achieve your goals. So where are you using discipline to silence something instead of listening? Something that your inner you is telling you, something that is coming up, and then you use the discipline to shut it down. Discipline doesn't fail because you are weak. It fails because you are fighting yourself. So stop forcing and start stabilizing. Stability needs to come before you can achieve consistency. So instead of forcing yourself into stricter rules, into putting more effort into whatever you think you should be doing, into doing another reset, January is so much better for building awareness, for recalibrating and really reconnecting with yourself. And maybe even asking yourself a question: why am I trading? This is one of the most important questions that a trader can ask himself. Why are you trading? And don't tell me you're trading for money, because there is something that you want to do with that money. There are really easier ways to earn money than trading. And I want you to dig a little bit deeper and ask yourself, what is that inner thing that make trading worthwhile, that makes all the effort that trading requires, and time and skills and everything that needs to be put into it, that it makes it worthwhile for you to do that. And I can understand that asking yourself that question and actually hearing the answer might be uncomfortable, because maybe some of you will hear answer that you don't want to hear. Maybe you already know that you are forcing something, but choosing another path would be a better option for you. And maybe that's why you are forcing so much, because you are doing something against yourself. And instead of being scared of the answer, you deserve to hear the answer. Because once you are honest with yourself, this is where integrity begins. And when you have the integrity, you don't need accountability, you don't need force. You can truly act from your heart in your best interest. And discipline will help you to follow that path so that you can make steps that are aligned with what you want, not steps that you think you should be doing because you think you need to make money. And I know I totally realize that this might be controversial. I know exactly how that desperation feeling is, especially if you feel like there is no other alternative and you have to make money with trading. Sometimes asking yourself that question and hearing the answer might be very confronting. But again, you deserve to hear that answer because only when you have the clarity, you can take the right actions. And just imagine how would it be for you if you can have that level of integrity with yourself so that you don't have to force anything and discipline becomes something more natural because you know exactly why you are doing it and why it is important to you. Money should never be the reason for what you are doing. Money is the result of the actions you are taking. So look beyond the money so that the discipline doesn't have to be a tool you are using to force yourself to make money. See what's behind there. What else is there? And why is that so important to you? And when you discover why that is so important to you, it will be much easier for you to take the actions that are aligned with those goals. So instead of fighting yourself constantly and forcing the discipline, I really want you to take a moment and give yourself some time to reflect on why are you feeling the stress, why are you feeling pressure, and start noticing what are the things that support your focus in trading. What are the things that you actually get energy from, and what are the things that drain you? What works for you? Instead of forcing the discipline, replace it with the awareness, with more understanding of what is it that you need in order to perform. When you have that level of connection with yourself, you can start building conditions around your trading where discipline becomes natural because you want those conditions to support everything that you are doing. And I'm talking about conditions in your life. Everything in your lifestyle has to support you as a trader and how you perform. Trading is not the trick. Trading is not something you just, oh, I'm just gonna, sit there for 5 minutes and make money. It requires a lot of skills, not just, setups. I'm talking about intangible skills, skills like focusing attention. What is it that you are focusing on while you're trading? Your emotional regulation, your self talk. How is it that you are showing up? These are just some examples. But if you are starting your day feeling pressure that you have to make money and you are not integrating and creating the conditions around your trading into your life, making money is impossible. And I dare to say it is impossible. And I don't mean that you will never make money, but I'm talking about long-term success. I'm talking about keeping the money and not giving it away again so that you are not on this emotional roller coaster all the time, but really create a system for yourself where your well-being is supported. So for this year, instead of trying to build more discipline and forcing yourself into doing things that you think you should do, remember that discipline is not something you build. It's something that returns when resistance disappears. So put your focus on removing the resistance instead of forcing the discipline. So start discovering what works for you. One of the biggest reasons that disciplines keeps failing is because traders are trying to copy what everyone else is doing. You see something on social media, maybe you're following someone and you see, oh, it's working for him, then it should be working for me. Someone else's routine, someone else's rules, someone else's version of discipline. But the truth is that what works for you depends on you, your energy, your nervous system, your life, your trading style. And instead of forcing yourself into habits that look good on paper, real progress starts when you begin noticing what actually works for you and what quietly works against you. And this is the reason why I created a very simple tool that hundreds of traders are already using. And I call it Trader's Good Habit Tracker. This is not to tell you what to do, but to help you observe yourself without judgment. It's not even about building discipline. It's about discovering which habits support you and which ones drain you so that consistency can start feeling natural. And when you use the tracker and you log in the habits that you are doing daily and you put your results that you have achieved throughout the day in trading, you can start seeing which are the key habits for you. I remember when I started testing what habits are really moving the needle in my trading, I had so many, I think probably like 15 different things that I had in my habit tracker, and I have been doing them all every day. And it got me exhausted. I was seriously running out of time to actually do them all. And then I started eliminating some of them and looking which ones are actually effective. And then I was looking at how are those habits connected. So in the evening, for example, when I would watch TV, that automatically would bring me behind in the morning because after watching TV, I wouldn't sleep that well. And then I would have trouble to wake up early. And then starting a day already rushed. So when you start noticing the correlation between the things you are doing, you can start eliminating things that do not have much significance, but someone else is doing them and you think like, oh, okay, this trader is successful, so I have to do them. And maybe you will end up with 3 or 4, maybe 5 things that are really making a difference in your results. So if you like, I will put the link to that habit tracker in the show notes. There's no pressure. We talk about pressure. This is definitely no pressure. So just if you would like to define your key habits or what really moves the needle for you, then this is something that can support this phase of awareness and recalibration. So instead of forcing yourself into all kinds of habits, I would say build awareness about your habits. This is a perfect time for that. So this might feel a little bit counterintuitive what I'm talking about, right? You say, okay, I have to do all the things to become successful trader, but I cannot make myself do it. So what are you saying? I have to stop doing them and then I will suddenly be successful? No, I'm not saying you don't have to do anything. What I'm saying is you can do less, but do the right things. Because it's not about doing more. And it's definitely not about forcing because you create pressure. And your key job as a trader is to release pressure so that you can perform well. But you will definitely notice that if you start building the awareness and you will start treating the discipline more as a support tool for you and for your system, the discipline will feel lighter. If you stop forcing yourself into things that you don't want to do, and you will discover where the resistance comes from. You will have less debate before you are entering a trade. You will have more certainty about yourself, not about the market and what's going to happen, but about what you can expect from yourself, because that comes out from your integrity. So when you build awareness and connection with yourself, there is more integrity present. You will also have faster recovery after you make mistakes, because the whole issue with beating yourself up after mistakes and having this emotional hangover is because you feel like you're inadequate or you're stupid, you made a mistake, and now there is this whole emotional loop that you have to play out. When you stop forcing discipline on yourself, when you have more compassionate approach, you will notice that you will have less reactive decisions. You will be having more consistency with less effort. You will start noticing patterns in your behavior, in your thinking, without judging yourself. Remember, success is not about forcing discipline. It's about no longer fighting yourself to do the right thing. And I want to leave you with one question. What if discipline isn't something you need to build, but something that comes back once resistance disappears? Thank you for listening to the Confidence in Trading podcast. If you are enjoying my show, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and tell me what you like about it. Thanks to you, more traders will be able to find me, and together we'll make a bigger impact. So thank you so much. If you are new to my show, don't forget to subscribe so you can come back for the next episode. And make sure to also check some of the previous shows. Thank you again for tuning in. This is Agnieszka Wood from Ahead Coach. Bye for now.